Hi guys, Bean Priestley back again. So this video is actually a test run that I just did with the amazing Siri Opali. She's another teacher on Insight Timer, and we're going to be doing some co-creative stuff over the next however long. Every other week we're going to come together. Siri is an artist, and she channels her art while listening to people give talks on things. So we hit it off when we met, and we just did a dry run. Unfortunately, I don't have OBS quite where it needs to be yet because I didn't get her audio at all. But I got the video. So what I'm going to do is edit out the talking bits that she and I were talking, which is unfortunate, but it'll work for now. And what you're going to see coming up here then is on the one side, Siri is painting her watercolor as I talk about quantum physics. And like I said, it's just sort of a test run. Nothing was scripted in this. This is just me kind of free flow of consciousness going on here. I think it's some good content, though. I think it's some good information that can help you. The more that we understand the quantum world and how it applies to us, the more empowered we become. So that's it. I hope you enjoy. Till next time. Bye. Camera down is sort of a test run preview for the live on Saturday. And it's all things quantum. It's the quantum field and what that means and how we can use that information. And it's so interesting because I was listening to a podcast this morning. I can't think of the guy's name. He's one of these guys that have been around forever. And he's talking about, I think his book is like The Science of the Mind or something like that. But extrapolating, what he's talking about is quantum physics and the way I've come to understand it. And that is the mind is all. And I'm working on a course right now, 7-day course, maybe 8-day course about the 7 principles of Hermetic laws. And so this wisdom has been around forever, and it's not something new. It's just that quantum physics has given us a new way of understanding it. And it goes back to that quote from your British guy that I mentioned on the Insight Timer preview, that any sufficient level of technology is indiscernible from magic. So we think of it as magic when we don't understand what it is or how it works. And that's the fun of quantum physics today, because we're getting into the realm with quantum physics that is that space. It is the 0 point field. It is consciousness, supreme consciousness. So, in the Hermetic sense, it is the ultimate mind that is the creator of everything. And it's God, it's source, it's consciousness, it's whatever you resonate with in these terms. And learning how to tap into it it's kind of complex, but it's sort of like learning how to drive a car. When you first start, it just feels overwhelming. It's like, oh my gosh, I have to look forward and I have to look my rear view and the side view mirrors, and then there's a gas and the brake. And if you're old enough, there's the clutch and the automatic gear shift, or not automatic, manual gear shift. And it just seems very overwhelming when you're learning. But when you start practicing and the more you do it, by the time you've been driving for a couple of months, you don't even think about it anymore. It's just second nature. And so conscious quantum living, which is the primary foundation course that I teach, is that for quantum physics. How do we harness all of that information? And the first thing that we start with is the monkey mind. That is our mind. That is our constant stream of thoughts. And it's learning to understand the content of those thoughts from an energetic perspective. So, thought always comes first. Thought precedes form. It has to. Anything that we create, we think about it first. And we're doing this all the time. And when we understand how the energetics of our words and our thoughts and our emotions actually tune our biofield, it becomes critical. And you can see how important it is to understand the content of your thoughts from an energy perspective. So there's many common themes, and one of them has to do with self-worth and people not thinking that they're worthy, or their ability, that they're not capable of doing this, that, or the other thing. And the constant stream of thought just makes that a self-perpetuating event. everything that we're thinking about comes to pass eventually. So when we can learn to reprogram the monkey mind to our benefit, and that's tricky too because we have our egos, and the ego has, it evolved to keep us alive, to keep us safe. It's always second guessing. It's always trying to keep us from getting outside of our comfort zone. And, anybody in this journey knows that the most important, incredible things happen when we step out of our comfort zone. That's where we grow. That's where we learn. That's where we expand. So there's a lot of self-sabotage that happens when we're on this journey. And it's ego-based. The ego wants to keep us safe. It wants to keep us in a realm that it knows, a realm that it understands. Because the minute that we step out of the known into the unknown, there's a lot of variables there that we've not faced before. And the ego doesn't like that. The ego wants to keep you where you're at, because even if where you're at is, pardon the French, an absolute shit show, it's a shit show that the ego understands and it knows how to navigate. So as we step out, as we continue on our journeys of becoming and start to grow and to learn and expand, we're playing in the unknown all the time. That's where we exist. That's where we allow ourselves to exist. And that's where we ultimately allow ourselves to get comfortable, is in that space of the unknown. So that the monkey mind is the first one. The second one is interesting. The second pillar that I teach is really interesting because, and this happens quite often to me in my journey, I will find something, resonate with something. And so I incorporate it into my teachings. But then it takes on a life of its own at some point and starts becoming its own thing. So what I'm talking about right now are the energy centers, our chakras. And this has been part of my course since I made it in 2020. And the last year or so has just it completely evolved and continues to evolve. A number of the meditations that I have in Insight Timer have to do with getting to know your energy centers, which is literally an introduction, and different flow meditations. So flowing the energy amongst our energy centers. And the flow state happened in one morning. There's this really powerful time in the morning, right when we're between awake and asleep, that can be one of the most incredible meditation times ever. And I was told early on, it doesn't count if you meditate when you're in bed. And I believed that for a lot of years until, I sort of broke through that one morning. And I was thinking, so I was there and I was thinking about my energy centers and decided to flow them. And I'm a very visual person, so I was imagining seaweed and the way it flows as the tide comes in and then it goes out, and the seaweed just kind of flows up and flows down. And so I started doing this with my energy centers, and they all just came alive, and it was fun. I was playing with my energy centers at that point, and I do that all the time now. It's just a fun thing to do. And it's interesting because when you're really connected and know how to touch them, they, sometimes some of them don't feel like playing right now. Something's going on energetically, so they just don't want to join in. Other times, everybody's all in, and it's like a party. It's like a party, and it's interesting because the energy centers, as I teach in the introduction meditation, it's getting to know them. They are their own entities. They are their own form of consciousness. Probably not in the way that we think of consciousness, but they are conscious, and it's part of our energetic body, our energy body. So that's the second pillar that I teach, and incorporated around that is so much theory in the quantum realm. So let's touch on that for a minute. Why does it matter? Quantum physics is the study of the very, very, very small. It's what happens when these tiny quanta particles, and what we're learning is crazy. It doesn't make sense. It has exploded physics for the last 50, 60 years. It doesn't follow linearity. A good example of that is entanglement. And the Hadron Collider is playing with this in Lucerne. So they take a particle and they split it. And then they shoot the two now particles in opposite directions. I think it's 17 miles each way. And what they have discovered is that when they do something to one particle over here, it simultaneously affects the particle over there with zero time lapse. That is the nonlinearity, where the linearity, we have to get from point A to point B, we have to go every bit in between, whether it's a straight line or a circuitous path. That's not the case in quantum. And that whole aspect has been a true fascination because we have yet to have a unified theory. And what that means is standard physics is that of the big, that of the macro, that how, organs and stuff in our body, how the solar system works and is in sync. The micro has very strange laws that we've yet to fully understand. And so we don't know how ultimately they're going to join. What we do know is that they will join eventually. There will be a theory that explains all of it, the theory of reality. And I believe that the majority of what we're going to learn moving forward has to do with the quantum field. I think that consciousness itself is a quantum process, a quantum phenomena. And this is where the magic happens, and this is where the power happens. And again, a lot of moving parts. In order to really maximize this, it is understanding energy and really being the ultimate shepherd of the content of your thoughts and your emotions. And that's a constant process, but like anything, it gets easier as you keep doing it. And you're elevating your energy every second, every moment of the day. Elevate, elevate, elevate. And as you do that, you start being able to tap in and you start being able to receive, because these bodies are ultimately senders and receivers of energy. And receiving is in the form of what people think of as channeling and downloads. You get information from the field and it comes through to you in a way that you can actually understand. So a lot of the meditations ultimately are that. This video is completely unscripted and it's just me following the path of whatever comes through to me. And that's the magic of playing in the quantum space. And the more you understand it, and the more you embody it, and the more that you believe it, the more it works, the more incredible it becomes. And it's being in the zone. It's living life with a magical lens. Driving around this morning, I had to go to a condo. I'm having new windows put in over there. And just looking around at the sky and the clouds and the trees, it was incredible. It was like everything was in technicolor. My heart was singing, my body was buzzing with gratitude. I'm here. Wow. This reality that we live in is so incredible and so amazing. And the more that we learn, we can become completely empowered and be our own creators. And it's the energy that we're in every day. And when we start taking stock of that and start realizing and reflecting, how have I been feeling? How's my energy been? How is it right now? And looking back, I can see my entire life. I mean, I didn't start this journey until 2016. Most of my energy was wasted on things that don't matter anymore, thoughts of the past, worrying about the future. That's completely wasted energy. It's that saying of, in the now, be in the now. That's absolutely true. But when you can be in the now and fully present and understanding the quantum principles and how our very thoughts are creating our reality, it's just mind-blowing. We do, in fact, create our reality. Everything that happens to us is an opportunity to take the energy present in that state and use it to our advantage. Use it to grow, use it to learn, use it to wire new pathways neurologically and physiologically in our bodies so that we can understand that there's a different level on which we can operate more and more and more and more. It's at this point, I cannot say I'm there 24/7. I wish I could, but I can say, especially in the last couple of months, I'm getting there more often than I'm not. And there are energetic wobbles I don't fully understand. Sometimes something will just, and don't even know what it is or why, but the energy will just tank. And I have some theories around it that we get caught up in slipstreams. There are energetic fields all around us all the time, and sometimes we get caught up in the other one. So the Hurricane Helene that just wreaked devastation upon so many in so many states, many dead, so many people lost everything. That embodied, that had a wave of energy associated with it that's still around. Many people still don't have their homes, or many of them were destroyed. It's hard not to get caught up in that. The horrific events of 9/11, same thing. And we have there are scientific experiments that they did with the random number generators that show in times like 9/11, where the entire world was involved, it makes an impact on the planet. It makes an impact on all of our consciousness, all of our awarenesses. And that's really important too. So I'll finish up here with that. The collective consciousness. Humanity is a collective consciousness. And the reason that me and so many others are doing the work that we do, the play that we do, is so that we can elevate humanity's consciousness. And that's a hermetic principle too, as within, so without, as above, so below. Principle of correspondence. And the interesting thing, this universe is fractal. So anything that we find on a small level, like us, is also present on a macro level. So in the way that I am creating my reality now, consciously and with intention, every moment that I can be present, that same phenomena is being reflected in the world. The same way the world is being influenced by what's happening with the people and consciousness. And that shows, it speaks to the impact that war has and all the things going around in the world. And this is why it's so important that we all come together and realize that we are all one. And the best thing that we can do, I think, is help ourselves. Take that journey to self, grow, learn, expand, become, open your heart to love and live in love all the time. Because what happens within us is going to happen around us. And that's really fascinating too, because I see everything that I'm reflecting on. And the people that I, attract, I'm watching the people that come to me and that I attract change. I'm watching them become. I'm watching them reflect to me that I'm on the right path. And for a while there, a dark time, I was attracting people that were not really well aligned, and it was frustrating time. But then now I realize, looking back, well, I wasn't really well aligned at that point either. And now that I'm thinking about it all the time, it's extraordinary. If I want something, I just be it. I live in that energy, and there it comes. So working with beautiful Siri here, same thing. We met on Insight Timer and we talked for the first time, and it was like, oh, well, I may just be meeting you, but I know you. I know you, and I have known you before. And that just makes my heart sing. And living in play and creativity, and I'm looking at that painting now, and wow, that is spectacular. That is incredible. Yes, we need pictures of that. Okay, raise the camera up so we can see your beautiful face again, my friend. That is stunning. That is absolutely stunning. Yes, you must send me pictures of these. Okay, so I felt like this needs kind of an outro here rather than just ending like that. Um, I hope you enjoyed that. The artwork that she makes is truly phenomenal, and it amazes me every time. So I will be doing a live on Insight Timer Saturday at 11:33 a.m. EST, assuming the link goes live. It's live in my teacher dashboard, but it doesn't seem to be on the app yet, but I'm sure that'll work itself out. And I'll put the link below as well, so you can get to that. And, as always, if you like this, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know. If you have any questions, I'm always here. I hope you have a great, amazing, magical day. Till next time. Cheers.